Welcome back to Cards and Comics. Today I have a collection pickup video. So this is a collection, again, I picked up a little while back. I probably was, I'm going to say 5 to 6 years ago. So I picked up a lot of raw lots from one dealer. And it's very focused in a few years, but it's kind of wild. Now, it's got hockey and baseball mix, so we'll just do the little bit of hockey I'm going to show off. Because the hockey was a bunch of vending that I think it came from vending the way it looked to me. And then, I think the guy had just bought a bunch of vending boxes and built sets, and then this was kind of what was left over. So we'll start with the hockey first, because it's just real quick. We'll go through some of the cards here. But the one thing I want to say is, like, the condition of some of these cards is just really, really nice. Here's the back. So this is the scoring leaders with Guy Lafleur, see, having a hard time speaking late at night. Marcel Dionne and Steve Shute. So it's just kind of cool. This is, two Canadians on one card. So there you go. Guy Lafleur on one card with Marcel Dionne and Steve Shute. The next up is just some, these aren't big time Hall of Famers. There's no Bobby Orrs. I mean, this is like a guy just selling off the remnants of cards he had bought to make sets. So, but there's Serge Savard. There's a couple of them, and you can see that there's so many of them because, again, these are what was left over from a bunch of either boxes or again vending that he opened. Jacques Lemaire, Gary Unger, which is kind of cool. And here's another scoring leader card, again, with Bobby Clark and Guy Lafleur. So, again, this one is a little off-center. So, again, that's what happened. Also, some of these cards, as I went through them, like a lot of vending, is great corners, terrible centering. Then here's Steve Shute again. So, pretty cool. But just a very small, and there's probably about 400 cards I actually picked up, and these were the only Hall of Famer or just kind of like nicer cards in that lot. So definitely struck out kind of because it's one of those lots I bought sight unseen. It was like, hey, I got a bunch of cards. Are you interested in buying them? Shot me a price. I'm like, okay. And again, this was under like $100. I think 400 cards for it was maybe 85, 90 bucks. So to me, if someone's really interested in a lot of really nice commons, I have it from a lot of these later year sets. I think these are like 75, 76, 78 kind of year sets. So next up is baseball. So we're going into some baseball. So the first year I had from this guy was 73 tops. So we'll go into this real quick. Here is a Billy Williams and Rod Carew batting leader card. And just like the other, these are pretty nice, but the 73 tops baseball is definitely got more harm than those hockey cards. You can see that corner there is not perfect for sure, but still a nice looking card. And again, this is definitely a good binder or EX to X Mint type card. This one's a little nicer. Again, Billy Williams, Rod Carew batting leaders card number 2. Here is an ERA leader with Louis Tiant and Steve Carlton. Again, a little corner wear, but again, pretty nice card. I mean, these are not bad 73 tops cards for sure. A little corner wear or edge wear there. You can see it. There we go. That's a little focused. Next up is a Gaylord Perry from 73. And a little off top to bottom. And, these definitely were handpicked through. Louis Aparicio. Again, this one's pretty nice condition. And here's a second one. So again, these actually were pretty nice condition. So again, not worth a ton of money, but for someone building a near mint set, these cards would fit in very nicely. Tommy John, again, not a Hall of Famer, but still pretty popular. Call like a semi-star back in the day. Another Tommy John. And Earl Weaver. And I get a kick out of Earl Weaver and his cards. And every time I see YouTube videos of him kicking dirt or yelling at umpire. To me, it's very comical. This one is pretty poor cut on the back, but I think even that poor cut wouldn't get an MC since you still see black. It basically has to have no border for it to get that MC. At least it used to, you know. We all talk about their grading standard changes, but I don't think that's changed. Next up is a few 75 O-Pee-Chees. So this was in this little lot I bought. I use the Bernie Carbo here because it's just a really nice card. Again, very nice for the grade. I think this card probably is a PSA 8 or better for sure. And you can see the O-Pee-Chee back. It's got that little dot there, so I don't think that's going to hurt it. Next up is a card, you know. It's the 67 MVP, Yastrzemski and Cepeda. This one is terribly off cut, so this is a miscut, which is common for 75 O-Pee-Chee. So I just want to show the variation. One really nice card, one horribly off cut card. Here is a Joe Torre card, so that's pretty cool. Second best card in the whole little pile. Again, pretty off center on the back. And last but not least is a Jim Rice rookie card. 75 O-Pee-Chee that is off center pretty poorly. But still a Jim Rice rookie card from the 75 O-Pee-Chee set, so that's still pretty cool. That was in this little pile of cards. Next up is basically 85-90% of the lot that was baseball was 76 tops. And in this, the person did not, for whatever reason, cherry pick as many cards. And I think, honestly, because there were so many. I think this individual had an enormous amount of 76 tops. And so, you know, I think it was, you know, building sets and grading and all this other stuff. But then there was so much of it available that he just wanted to start selling it in lots. And that's what he sold to me, was just to start getting rid of some of it because I think he had got so much of it. The other thing of it too is I used to have a set registry of 76 tops. I think I was in top 10 at one point. So I was almost 85% complete with my 76 top set before I sold it off and broke it up. Never got it done. So but it's kind of one of those sets that has a special spot in my heart. I like that design and I love the George Brett. So first up is the Reds team card. And again, this is, you know, Big Red Machine era. You got the Sparky Anderson manager card. So I really like that card a lot. There's the backs. So you can see that this is definitely much higher quality than 73 or 75 O-Pee-Chee. That card is well centered. That card has nice corners, nice gloss. So this is a card with, you know, I don't see anything wrong with it. So again, 76 tops, unfortunately, are pretty plentiful. And, you know, unless you get 9s or 10s, you can't make a ton of money grading. But again, you know, I just want the cards to have, because I might build a raw set one day, or just eventually these kind of cards might be, you know, worth grading. Here's the Dodgers card, and this one is a little bit worse condition. It's got a little bit of a, yeah, right there, ding. So again, not as good a condition as the Reds. And now we get into like the player side of it. So here is Jim Hunter. So Hall of Fame Catfish Hunter. Off center top and left. But other than that, it's a very nice color card. You can see tons of color gloss. So these cards, if they're centered, are going to be very nice. That's sort of the challenge here. NL AL Championship. So Reds and Red Sox. Again, this is Big Red Machine. And this is a card there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's a great looking card. It does not have any defects that are just glaringly obvious. Just a really nice card. Next up is the World Series card, where the Reds win the championship. Pretty cool if you're a Reds fan. So there you go. That's the 76 World Series card. Pretty cool. Next up is the Yankees team card. I think it's probably centered well enough to be considered for the PSA 8 grade, but it is off a little top to bottom. You can see Billy Martin right there, and then there is the team on the back. So they gave you the little team checklist. So pretty cool card. I mean, I just like, you know, the team checklist or the team cards are, to me, still pretty cool. Jim Cott. So get into the individual players. And again, this one is miscut. So, you know, when I say they're not as handpicked, they're still picked over a little bit. You know, what was in this lot, some of the cards are picked over. Here's a Willie Randolph rookie card. A little off center, but pretty good on the back. So, pretty cool Willie Randolph rookie card. Next up is Goose Gossage. And this one definitely, again, you know, he's not super expensive, so this card, you know, is pretty nice for the grade. You know, just a really cool near mint plus card of Goose Gossage, 76 tops. Then we get into the league leader cards, and so a lot of these are in very, very nice shape. That is, you know, because I don't think the person thought they were worth anything. So, but here is the RBI leaders from the National League. So you got Bench and Perez on this card. Lazinski. Show you the back. So very nice card. 2 Hall of Famers on that one. Strikeout leaders. So you got Gaylord Perry and Bert Blyleven and Frank Tanana. So at least 2 Hall of Famers on this one. Here is RBI leaders at American League. So you got Lynn, Mayberry, and Scott. No Hall of Famers on that card. You can make a case for maybe one of those guys. Dave Lopez, Joe Morgan, Lou Brock. So here is the stolen base leaders card. I think it's interesting that Lopez has 77 and Brock was down at 56. You know, Brock was close to the end of his career by this point. You know, this was like late period Lou Brock for sure. So he was still doing a lot of good stolen bases, but he had, you know, not in his prime at this point. Tom Seaver, victory leaders 22. So he's the Hall of Famer guy on this set, on this card. And again, you know, it's a really cool looking card, really nice. These, you know, victory leader cards are, you know, just really, really good condition cards. Next up is the American League victory leaders, and I don't know why they did this, but here's the National League is horizontal, and then they went they went sideways for the American League version of this card, and it's the same amount of players. So I don't know why they did that. It's kind of odd. This card's pretty cool. You got Vida Blue, Jim Palmer, Jim Hunter. So 2 Hall of Famers and a Hall of really good player right there in Vida Blue. There you go. And last but not least, ERA leader from National League. And again, Tom Seaver is a highlight on that card. So there you go. There is the league leader cards. Moving back to the single players, you got Lou Brock. This one is miscut. It's diamond cut. So it's a little, you know, small border, big border. You know, that's sort of how you find out. Small border, big border. So this card is diamond cut. So this is miscut. So again, set filler kind of card. If I was going to look at that kind of card, but Lou Brock. Oh, got more league leaders. My gosh, there's a whole bunch. So we'll go through. This is a mix of league leaders and all-time stars. Sporting News, and these all-time stars are all pretty dang nice. Like this whole run of these cards were just really good. Show you the back, and it looks like a very normal plain back. I like the stars over here. They did a good job on this design. Probably one of my favorite kind of like throwback retro designs they ever did, because they used good photos. They made the backs look like a normal card, and I like the little, almost like a metal, you know, right here. So there's a Lou Gehrig. Again, really nice card, very good condition. Again, I think that card would grade 8 or better. Back to the league leader cards. There's Reggie Jackson on the home run leader card. Here's the National League version of that card with Mike Schmidt and Kingman and Lazinski. Batting leaders. Here is Rod Carew, Fred Lynn, and Thurman Munson, which is kind of cool to see a catcher up there. So it's a really cool card. And pretty good shape. A little off center top to bottom. So not quite as good as some of the other ones. Joe Morgan. Again, a little off center, but at least it's not miscut. So, and I'll always love that card. This is like one of my favorite Joe Morgan cards. This is the Johnny Bench, which we'll see the bench a little bit later. Back to the Sporting News. Here's the Ty Cobb. Again, just really nice card. Career average of 367. That's pretty insane. There you go. There's Ty Cobb. Great photo. Walter Johnson. Very well centered Walter Johnson. These are really nice cards. Go. Back to some singles. Here's Gaylord Perry. Yeah. I always just like Gaylord Perry because he played for so long. So many wins. He's kind of one of those stat compiler guys, but you have to be good to be a stat compiler. Here is the Tom Seaver strikeout leader card. Again, I think this is the second time we've seen this card. Here is the McCovey. Again, top to bottom centering on this card. But still, really cool Hall of Fame card. Like that one. Here is the Hornsby all-time All-Stars. Yeah, really cool card. Here's Mickey Cochran. Again, again, I keep saying it, but the color and the gloss on these cards is also hard to convey just how nice they are. Next up is obviously a cool card for a Pirates fan like myself, a cool Pie Trainer. Very, very nice card. And back to the playing cards here. Hall of Famer Tony Perez. I like this card a lot. And again, a little off center, but still I think definitely in the 8 realm of centering. Ted Simmons. Cool card for me, Willie Stargell. Like that card quite a bit. A little off center, but a lot of the stars are. And again, I think that's just because, they handpicked the cards for their sets, and these were kind of the leftovers. Fergie Jenkins, a little diamond cut on this card. Pretty cool card here. Tom Seaver, even though it's off center a little bit. Just kind of cool to see a 76 Tom Seaver in the mix. Another ERA leader, Jim Palmer, Jim Hunter, and Eckersley. So triple Hall of Famer on this card. And a very nice card to boot. So here's the big all-star card. So we did have the Babe Ruth. There you go. That's the big dog. That is the big one. That's the one that actually brings some pretty good money in high grades. So this is a 9. It would bring pretty good money. Even as an 8, I think it does okay. It's probably worth grading as an 8. Just because it's a Babe Ruth card. And it's still a Topps Babe Ruth card. So, like that one a lot. Lefty Grove. Again, these are fun cards. Here is a record breaker, Tom Seaver. And again, this Tom Seaver is pretty nice. So, again, I think the person, he didn't care about the league leaders, the record breakers, these kind of cards. He was more concerned about the base cards. And he didn't care about the all-time great cards. So those all look very nice. Whereas most of the other Hall of Famers are a little off-center. This Don Sutton is not, though. This Don Sutton is a very nice card. Yeah. Digging that Don Sutton quite a bit. Yeah, again, not a expensive card, but it's just cool to see a nice Hall of Fame card that isn't way off-center. The Billy Williams is, again, a little off-center, but not, again, probably still close to an 8 type centering. Nice Hall of Famer there. Here is Jim Palmer off top to bottom, but again, cool to see the card. Mr. Palmer. And pretty cool card here. Thurman Munson. Just a nice looking card. Just off center, again. Most of these. But this card here, I think this card is very nice. Probably the nicest regular Hall of Fame card in this whole lot. The Brooks Robinson. Really like this Brooks Robinson. Nice card. So. And yeah. it's cool to see at least one of these Hall of Famers card be centered. And last but not least, my favorite card in the whole set, besides the George Brett, is the Johnny Bench. And again, off top to bottom, pretty good left to right. I would be happy with this guy a 7, honestly. You know, if I send this in, I got a 7. And what I might do is I might send some of these to SGC. You know, just to see what they grade. Be kind of a cool experiment. Send like a lot of 5 or 10 of these cards to SGC. You know, the Babe Ruth, the bench, you know, a few of the league leader cards or whatever, and just see what I get. Because you know, all I need is like 1 or 2 9s, and you get a pretty good return on investment. So there it is, guys. Tons of 76s, some 73s mixed in, 75 O-Pee-Chee. So a lot of cool cards in my opinion. But, you know, very characteristic of buying a lot, you know, from a dealer, kind of sight unseen, you know, through a deal, you know, and kind of getting a bunch of, you know, I call them nice cards. There's a lot of cool cards in here. A lot of really nice league leaders and all-time leaders and those kind of cards. But most of the star base cards are a little off center. Been handpicked over probably. So I'm not going to get 9s and 10s on any of these kind of cards, but I might get a few 7s and maybe a couple 8s. So still kind of fun to go through. And I think if I was building the set, this would be a great starter to that set. And that's sort of what I kind of bought it for, because, you know, I sold the graded set for the most part. I wanted to say, well, maybe I'll just build a raw set. And so that's what I was thinking. So let me know what you think in the comments. What was your favorite cards? What do you think about, you know, these sets? Are they worth grading? Should I send a few in SGC? Let me know in the comments, and I'll talk to you next time on Cards and Comics. Bye.